Beholding is peer support that is body-based, spiritually awake, emotional alchemy, and I would say warrioress training. So I have this idea to create this modality that is related to co-counseling. I studied co-counseling. I started co-counseling in the mid-90s, and it's been incredible how it supported my life, how it helped me go from being triggered all the time to having a lot more space just to be able to be more present and not in my undigested, unintegrated intensity, high intensity experiences, what one would call trauma. So in co-counseling, you learn how to be a good listener, and you learn also how not to interrupt the natural unwinding and expression of emotional release. Boys get trained, big boys don't cry, or girls get trained, don't be angry, it's nasty, don't be sassy. So those are well-meaning, well-intended kinds of things that culturally, personally, we are taught. And with this kind of work, we unravel what's underneath with giving permission for emotions. But it's not just emotional release. There's a few other factors, a few other components. One is that we anchor as mystery, anchor as divine. It's a given in this work that we recognize that, yes, we are in this body that is born on a date and will die on a date. And there is an aspect of self that is infinite. So we are also anchoring as that infinite self. And in that anchoring as the mystery, something very special happens. And you could call it, you get awakened to life as a playground. You get awakened to life as delight. The ups and downs of life get somehow tempered because we are holding it from a part of ourselves that is just absolutely delighted with you, delighted with yourself, and sees it all as a game, a movie. And that gives us space. That gives us also a lot of resilience in the face of the ups and downs, and gives us grace. And that grace, that space, is where a lot of healing and magic and synchronicities can come through. It also stops us from just kind of spinning around. You can dig in the shit forever. You can dig in that stuff. There's no end. So in a way, the anchoring as the mystery lets us have a bigger perspective that helps us not take it all so seriously and helps us be held in life's ups and downs. So the resilience part. The other part is that we are cultivating compelling desires. So that, when I was learning co-counseling, I also had this pretty crazy desire for myself, which at the time was to become an international belly dancer. And so I come from a background where I was raised poor. I grew up on a farm. I knew nothing about belly dance. I knew nothing about divine feminine. I knew nothing about, tantra or tantric deity meditation. um, so with the compelling desire and the emotional release work, I was being drawn into, it was like a compelling force that pulled me into the reality that wanted to be born through me. And so the combination, we got this emotional release work that takes care of the animal self, the animal emotional body. We have anchoring as a mystery, which means that we are stepping into ourselves, into the most complicated relationship, really engaging in that relationship of us as finite and infinite. So the infinite self. So that would be kind of tantric deity meditation, stepping into that as the mystery, anchoring as the mystery. And we have this compelling desire that we will cultivate with beholding, awakening the imagination, so that parts of our lives that, we may only have whispers about, or parts of our lives that might be smushed, hidden under complaints, because complaints hide our desires. Complaints are kind of like the desires that get smushed through under the damp, wet, heavy blanket of internalized depression. And so, and then we have what I would call a compassionate shadow integration. So we also uncover parts of ourselves that secretly love what we think we don't love. So parts of ourselves that might love being a victim. It might be attached to being a victim because that served us at one point, got us to here, got us to this point. So, right. So we don't judge them. We don't throw them away. They don't make them wrong or bad. We see them for the service that they've given, these beliefs. So being a victim, being small, being spacey, all sorts of things that we think we don't like, but we actually have a certain amount of energy invested in them. And they're shadows, so they're hiding. So they come up in ways that we, in beholding, will be watching for them, because they show up in all sorts of ways. I see them. Often I relate to them as like a toddler who has like kind of creepy worms in her hands. And instead of saying, ew, yuck, it's like, oh, what is that? Oh, isn't that an interesting feeling? I have self-attack. I have self-judgment. I feel small. I suddenly feel tired. All these things that pop up to keep me safe, that originally came in to keep me safe. So then if I relate with those compassionate, with compassion, and with curiosity, and with glee, with zest, with celebration and enjoyment, they're not operating in the shadows anymore. And then they lose their power. Ouch. My ring is pretty sharp. So when you see them um, in this compassionate way, then they start to release, and they don't need to be operating from the shadows anymore. So I'm so excited to offer this beholding, because I feel that we need not just tools in how to become even more who the person, the woman that we know is possible. Not just the tools, but also the sacred containers in dyads and also in groups. And it's my desire that beholding fills that need. And so if you are interested, please drop me a note, let me know. And I'm delighted to share this practice of beholding with you.